Hi everyone. We are in front of an old tree. Is it a real tree? Well, we cannot say anymore. Is it like 3D printed object that has the texture of a tree? Is it some artificial creation of some artist that was made 30 years ago in some kind of virtual reality space? It is actually the dominant ideology that is protecting us to see the nature's ideology of these three. We will try to find out in this session what are the aspects of these three from the perspective of the tree and not from the perspective of dominant ideology, which actually cannot distinct the concrete object, the real object, and the ideological object that we perceive our reality. So, we will now start with maybe the shapes which we have here, and those shapes are actually the shapes of these three. So, we will start with something very, let's say, very simple. And by this, we will practically move forward to different location. So those are the trees, typical kind of shapes that people often perceive as a shape of a tree. Really a primer shape of something which is called tree, or some kind of natural element that we often imagine. So it looks like this. Suddenly we have also something which is practically coming out from this emancipation of the tree. Because even today we can artificially made smell, touch, even all kind of hyper-realistic elements of this tree or any kind of natural object. So we need now to find another level of emancipation of this tree. And I would say that this is actually related to this ability of the tree to emancipate itself. And we will try to find this emancipatory, so to say, shape or the form of this tree. But in the same time, we need to find out the symmetry of the tree itself, because we already discussed that symmetry is something which is the first element of the nature's ideology, and it goes away from only thinking of nature as some kind of beautiful abstraction. So we will also use here very simple idea of how to imagine the landscape around that, maybe using just simple green and colors which are going into this direction, green and yellow, and try to think about how we can explore these elements of green and yellow, and let's say a bit of situation with this, so we can practically try here to also to imitate the structure of the tree, which is related to this, to have this imitation of it. But we need more, so to say, light variants of the green, because it gives a certain stability to, and it goes into direction of more light. So you see the tree slowly, the shape of the tree actually, how the simplest dominant ideology or the simplest shape of the tree is somehow coming out slowly from this canvas, and we'll see how we can deal even further with these aspects. So this is on the way of this. It's very good. We can practically try here to imitate this abstraction. You see, when you look like this, you can mimetically try to distinct those two things. And you can try to use it. So it goes in quite interesting direction. So we will use another this. So need a certain window of opportunity, window from where this tool of emancipation of the tree's representation in the dominant ideology can move forward, and we will try to evoke these shapes and to have it more precise then. But before that we need to finish this basic trees outlook, which we still didn't finish. So we will try to finish it here. So this will give a good contrast, so I will leave it so unfinished in a way, because the drawing this will be completely another aspect that we will then emphasize. Okay. So it looks a bit of more abstract. It goes like this. A bit of slow and light touch. This is important because the texture of the tree is more shapy, more wild. Okay, let's see what is going on in another dimension. And in another dimension we have this. This is the blue. And this is typical, this relation between blue and green. And I think this light blue and green are good correlating together, especially because it belongs to this dominant ideology and how we look at nature. So green is grass and sky is blue, and it's trivial. But it is good to touch it, and to try out from this dominant position to reproduce something completely different, a different narrative, the narrative of the nature's ideology. So, and to see the aspect of the all three. What is the aspects of emancipation of an all three? We will see, because this tree is not virtual reality. It is not. This tree is not made. This tree is actually not made by Chinese contemporary artists. And neither it is made by British or American contemporary artists in the 90s, or it's not made by some guy who is just doing it by printing 3D, trying 3D printer in different shapes, in different colors. So it is something which is quite unique, and we will try here to exercise like this. So different greens and different blues are connected here in a very complicated and very violent situation. So, it looks quite abstract still. We will try this because we need some stronger touch here because of the tree's ability to be more strong, to be more, so to say, to have this strong very strong elements which will give to this tree quite unique outlook. And we will now use this tool which we often use, and we will try to imagine this in a completely another way. And to see what we have now. Wow, It's very nice, and it's very good. It's very nice and good. Background for going into drawing and accentation. And we must do this drawing and accentation right now, because if we don't do it, it will stay unfinished. And the whole idea of showing this ideology of will disappear, and we will not have final word on it. So we have the first neutral accentations, and now we will go with white. White is important because it gives light, and we need light in this image. We don't have enough light. We will use special new brush for this. Interesting how light is appearing in the image and what will bring to us. We need also some light accents on the tree, because the tree is not without light. It is old, but it needs light as well. So we are now approaching to this, and yeah, I think we can now start to draw. Okay. So those are the extensions of the tree. And with those extensions, the tree is communicating. It is not so proper to say that tree is communicating. Tree is communicating nothing, you know. Tree is just showing the form. And through this form, we can recognize another ideological patterns and aspects of the theology of the tree. It's very nicely done. And here as well. Like this. It's very important to show this power of the extension of the tree. And also try to use this power in a different way. Like this. And also using some other colors, and to make it more clear and more powerful. Those are the patterns which are slowly becoming visible to us. Or maybe we can also take some bigger and more stable possibility, which will practically position this tree's format and its own ideology. So this is something which we now can see as stabilization factor, which actually make stable this whole space, and all representation is now becoming, let's say, new and completely outdated. So this is what is happening. And here we need one really strong stabilizing factor, and to express actually what this extension here is doing by concretizing this extension, and this extension is here. So this extension is practically there. And I hope it's very clear that now we need to imagine one last touch, which is actually related to these three. In order to understand nature's, to imagine and to understand what is this emancipatory element or aspect of the nature's ideology of these all three. When I look this, I can see it here, some kind of black star. So we will now here correct this or connect this better, this touch of the extension and this ability to work more, and maybe to add few more aspects of white directly. To have more plastical aspects in this format and to have it more being connected with this extension, or even here a bit, or even here, to have it much better here connected because it's not clear how it's coming out from the tree, and here. Or maybe just to give some few elements here that can work out. But this is never good to be so mechanic, so we need to correct this a bit. So maybe last. Elements that can be better shaped here. So, in order to be fully satisfied, to say yes, that's it. We are happy with this 3 and with the extension to 3. Okay. Okay. I would say that we are almost finished. Not almost, but we are coming to an end. And I hope that we managed to answer the question of what are the aspects of Null 3 which are not related to the dominant ideological forms. And I hope you join us in the next sessions where we can also discuss the nature's ideology.